Want to know one of the great things about creating a whimsical flower garden? You can change things on a whim. Remember these guys from our last video? Well, these are going to be my replacement flowers for my flower garden slash butterfly nectar garden. So as you can see on this half of the garden, there's a little bit blooming, but not a lot. This swamp milkweed was blooming, and hopefully it's going to give me some beautiful seeds. Look at, there's a ladybug going to eat the aphids. Y'all leave the aphids, don't get rid of them, because when you get enough of them, they send out a collective signal, and along come the ladybugs and the scyphid larvae, and they'll take care of it. And your battle will be tamed. But if you keep wiping them away or taking them away, it's always going to be an issue. So anyway, let's get back on topic. So this one was blooming, but now it's not. So it's just creating green in here, but it's not going to be drawing the butterflies in. And this plant is not planted in the ground. It's in a pot. And it's in a pot in another pot that will hold water. When you have a plant in a pot, they dehydrate so much more quickly than a plant in the ground. So when you're going to do this whimsical flower garden method, you want to have a bunch of little containers hidden down in your garden that will hold water. This one's a random old Tupperware container. And I also have these pots that I bought in a 10-pack, very inexpensive. What I love about them is they're flexible. So if you have to do a little gushing to get them in a tight space, you can. And they're deep, so they'll hold a lot of water. I will link these below in my Amazon affiliate links in the section that says seen in this video. So you can put a bunch of containers, whatever you have, old Tupperware, old pie pans, whatever, all over in the bottom of your garden. And my garden is all surrounded halfway by a wall, a little bit of border grass, more wall, and then a row of potted plants. That border serves two purposes. First, it keeps my little French bulldogs out of the garden because they love to eat my zinnia flowers. And second, it hides all those little containers that are all over the place around in the bottom of that garden space. So here's what we're gonna do. We took this guy out, beautiful milkweed. It's gonna just move over to the holding area in my garden workspace, where it can sit, and if it's being munched on by caterpillars, which it looks like it is, but this plant will just sit over here, still feed the caterpillars, but it's not going to take a spot in my flower garden because it's not flowering. Hopefully it's going to give me seed pods. So then I can take a gorgeous plant that is flowering and put it down in that very same pot. So we're going to take this beautiful coneflower, the wild berry that I got from Romance Gardens. And y'all, you know what? I sent them my video and they loved it. So let me get this fabulous packaging off. I'm going to leave it in this pot with its stake. And look, there's some new flower buds coming up. And it's going to go in that little pot where the swamp milkweed was. So see, now there's kind of like an empty spot there with no flowers. And look at what a difference that made. And you can't even really tell there's pots down there. When that gets taller and fills in, it'll be even more so. And now there's a pop of color and a gorgeous flower for a butterfly to land upon and get some nectar. And so using this method, you can constantly be changing out the look of your flower garden and adding new fresh grown flowers, and then pulling out and cutting back ones that need a chance to regrow. Is that not fabulous? I love it. Let me see if there's any others that need changed. We've got to get this salvia in there for sure. But this one's in this little pot, so I'm going to up pot it into just a regular gallon grow pot before I move it in there. Now, unfortunately, this plant fell over and my dogs stepped on it. So all the beautiful flowers are knocked off, but I am sure it is going to be sending up more. So even though it's not blooming right now, it should be soon. And we're going to go ahead and swap it out. Right here beside where this one is another swamp milkweed. And it's done blooming. See its little pot? That's one of those round plastic ones I showed you down there. So we're going to take this one out. It's going to move back to the back lot. It'll still serve a purpose for the monarchs, but since it's not flowering, it can stay back here. And then we'll just tuck this down into that pot. And when that's blooming, it's going to be so pretty. Now, even though these two blooms are older, there are some fresh blooms coming up on this coneflower. This is the Frankly Scarlet. So I want to get this in there also. And I'm going to leave those blooms on there. Hopefully I'll get some seeds from them. I'm also going to keep the tag in the pot, so I remember who it is, because that'll be hidden down in the base of the garden as well. I want to leave this other swamp milkweed in here just in case butterflies want to lay eggs on it, you know, so there's options. But right beside it was this zinnia. It still has blooms on it, but they were going off to the side and not popping up. So what I think I'll do is I'll trim them back and I'll add some more seeds to this pot and put it back in the back lot to regrow. And that particular plant was right down there, but it wasn't in a pot. So I'm gonna grab one of my plastic pots. And we're just gonna tuck that down there. All right, here's the before. And then we're gonna tuck that in. See, and here's the after. Fresh pop of color coming through. And I'll get my hose and water and get a little water in there. And if any of you all are worried about like the pots of water and mosquitoes, I really don't have an issue with mosquitoes. I think it's because there are so many pollinators in this garden that mosquitoes don't stand a chance. But when I water, I'll take the hose and squirt it down in the containers and sort of flood and flush them out so they overflow, and then that washes out any larvae that might be in there. So isn't that fun? You can literally just buy a bunch of beautiful flowering plants that you know are loved by butterflies, that give fabulous nectar, and just trade them out. It will make everything look different. It's like doing flower arranging in vases, only on a bigger scale in your garden. And you can make it look different every week, just swapping out plants. And then when some, you know, get a little lackluster and they need a little trim, take them out to your little back lot, trim them down, let them regrow, put something fresh in there. You can always swap them out. How fun is that? And you can grow a lot of plants from seeds. I love it. And those of you who have followed me for a while know I love changing up my garden. I love moving things around, mixing things up. So this is it's so windy today. This is a fantastic way to do that. And on that note, this is the end of the portion of the video that goes with the title. Thank you for coming and watching, but we're still gonna hang out because I have things I want to show you. Let's go. Oh, and now would be a good time to tap the like button. Just give it a tap. You guys, there is a polydamas swallowtail laying eggs on my woolly Dutchman's pipe vine. Are you seeing this? I'm dying right now. I have been waiting for this moment all season. These are my second favorite caterpillars to raise. They are absolutely adorable, and I'm just gonna leave her alone, and as soon as she's all done, you know I'm bringing those cuttings in. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, you guys, I got some eggs. Look at those sweet babies. These are going into the lepidarium for sure. And she's still over there, so maybe she's gonna lay more. I am so excited. And that's not even what I wanted to show you when I said I have things to show you. Like, that was something that just happened. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I got some pictures of the butterfly, so I'll put one right here so you can see what she looks like. Polydamas swallowtail, laying eggs on host plant, pipe vine. Also host to the pipe vine swallowtail. I haven't got any eggs for them yet, but it's the polydamas babies. I love them. They're my second favorite to raise, right next to the giant swallowtails. I thought maybe I was just gonna go and not have any this year. Yeah, last week it was the zebra swallowtail, and now I got polydamas eggs. A life in the garden just keeps getting better and better. Okay, now let me go show you what I wanted to show you. Oh, but first, have you ever looked or glanced in your frequently used emoji section and you see an emoji in there and you're like, when did I use that? Which then tells you you must have sent somebody that emoji. So if I sent you a sponge emoji, like a sponge like you wash your car with, I'm sorry, I don't know why that happened. All right, let me show you what I've done. I am never going to get to show you what I want to show you. A pipe vine swallowtail just came swooping through. I'm going to go see if I can find it so you can see it. Okay, I'm just going to keep the camera on and chat because it keeps swooping through. And you know what? It's trying to come in this area, and every time it lands, another butterfly comes and chases it away. Isn't that just like them? Oh, come on, baby. Come on back. All right, I don't see it anywhere now. If I do, I'll be back. Now let me show you what I want to show you real quick before something else happens. Back here where we were on the Monday's video, I brought out 2 of my pots of zinnias and put them out here because they're getting really tall. And then I started 2 more pots of seeds, the cactus flowered and some cosmos seeds, Cosmos Versailles variety mix. And up here around the bend, just past my 2 potted water hyssop, I have this little empty dirt spot right here. So I put another butterfly pea there because I had a beautiful plant that was flowering in a pot. And I thought, you know what, why not? And I might, there's a trellis right there, and that's got a cow pea on it. It's similar to the butterfly pea, only it produces a yellow flower. But I can't talk. It tends to grow on the other side. So I might put another, because I have another one in a pot, another butterfly pea down on this side to like fill in this side. And they're gonna keep my long-tailed skippers supplied. Now that I finally have a good number of them back in my garden, we want them to stay. Look, there it is on my fire bush. You know, this is the same thing that Polydamas did. It came through on the fire bush and then it went over and laid eggs because the pipe vine, you know, they share the same host plant. I don't know if this one's a male or a female. Look at that blue glistening in the sun. They are so gorgeous. Oh. Another thing I want to show you is that my scarlet rose mallow is blooming. And not only that, last year, these were super tall. They were tall like my starry rosinweed in the background. This year, as this was growing up, I trimmed it off to see if it would send out more branches, and therefore I'd have more flowers and a fuller plant, not just the tall thin one. And that's exactly what happened, because look at all the buds on this. Which this would have been one branch, and now I have, how many came out? A lot. I mean, there would have been more than one, but it really sent out a lot more. So when all of these are opening up, it's going to be so beautiful. And I did that with all of mine in here. So I have some shorter ones, and this one over here has got a couple blooms on it too. And they're all definitely growing shorter. So if you love the scarlet hibiscus, but didn't want it to be such a tall presence in your garden, trim it back as it's growing up and it will send out more shoots so you get more blooms, and it'll be a little bit lower in your landscape. And it's just a fantastic bloom. The flower is huge. It's gorgeous. Scarlet rose mallow or scarlet hibiscus is a Florida native plant. It is a water loving plant. I have it in my wetland garden, or you can put it in pots, just keep it well watered and it'll be very happy. It is gorgeous, gorgeous plant to have in your garden. I still have my giant milkweed growing back here, and I noticed when I was coming back to get the eggs from the polydamas that there are indeed munch marks on it, and there's that cute little guy right there. So I think whatever was happening is over, and we're back in action with the monarch caterpillars. And speaking of the polydamas, here we are again. And you guys, look at these gorgeous seed pods on my aquatic milkweed. And there's one flowering, so I'll probably get some seed pods on that one also. I'll be out collecting these when they're ready. Look, there's a monarch butterfly over there laying eggs on that swamp milkweed. We just moved over there. Already. So the other flowers that I bought from Romance Gardens that weren't quite blooming yet, I moved over here, and you can see them down here in my work area, and they're just sitting waiting to bloom, and they'll be there ready to switch out, you know, when the time comes. Well, it's starting to rain a bit, so I think we're going to end things here. Remember, tap the like button and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of people that regularly watch my channel who haven't tapped the subscribe button yet. It doesn't cost anything. It really doesn't do anything except maybe expend a half a calorie to do the tap motion. So go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And say hey to me in the comments. Let me know what you do in your garden to make it whimsical.